Hey everyone, welcome to the Credit Card News live stream. It's good to have you. I'm glad to have you here. I hope you're having a great weekend so far. Danny, thank you so much for the super chat, and I appreciate you supporting the channel. Definitely means a lot to me. Cinemadness, what's up, buddy? So I just want to address this real quick. You're saying that you have a checking account bonus from a fintech called Spiral. I've never heard of Spiral. It gave you $55 for depositing $200, an ROI of 110%. That's amazing. I'm gonna check that out. I haven't heard of Spiral before, but I want to see what that's about, because I told you back in November, I got a $15. No, I got a $100 sign up bonus for signing up for DCU, Digital Federal Credit Union. So I always love to take advantage of those. I appreciate those tips, man. Keep them coming. I need that. That's free money, basically. Yeah, Danny knows what's up. You've got DCU? Me too. I just signed up. So, Fred, how's it going? How's it going, man? Yeah, I know you were saying that you want Apple Card to come to Canada. I know a lot of people want it to expand. They've been saying that since, what, 2020? That they were going to expand to different countries? I can't wait till they do that so I can do an update video. I know everybody loves the Apple Card. I know a lot of you have it. So I can't wait to cover that. So I'm just gonna get right into it. This is the first thing we have to cover is I made a mistake, okay? Everybody's been letting me have it and let me hear it about my Capital One Quicksilver credit limit increase video. I missed the buckets. So bucketing is basically how Capital One categorizes you once you sign up for a credit card. And for a lot of people, they walk in the door with Capital One and they might have a lower credit score. And what that does is limit your starting limit is going to be low, around $500. And then you're not going to be able to get any significant credit limit increases. It's going to be like $100 here or, you know, a few $100s there. So they don't grow with you. And Capital One, that's part of their business model. So I should have done more research to suss that out. I'm coming from a point of view that when I signed up for my first Capital One card, I was already established. So I had a blind spot there. So there's no excuses. And also, and Fred, I see that in the comment section, a lot of people hate them. They absolutely loathe Capital One. They have very bad experience. But here's an example of the way I started with Capital One. So I started with a $15,000 limit, and I'm thinking, okay, they're a reasonable credit issuer, and many people have the same experience. But I come to find out there seems to be two opposite ends of the spectrum. Either you start with Capital One and you're already in the clear and you're in a great bucket, or you started in a low tier bucket and you'll never get out. So the long and short of how to improve your situation, which I'll be covering in next week's video in deep detail, is you'll have to sign up for a whole new card, completely new card. Okay, so I'll be covering that in far more detail next week. And Danny, you saying you got rid of Capital One? They are so stingy and never let you graduate. Yeah, it seems like I've seen a lot of comments about that, and people really firing a lot of shots at Capital One. has a that which is it's a little confusing because there's so much adoration for the Venturex card. There was so everybody wants that card, and that's a Capital One card. So I'm gonna start speaking of the Venturex. Let's talk about it. So there is a secret way. I'm gonna call it a secret way to get the Venturex card. You can use the Capital One's secret product change page. And I got this tip from Adam from Proud Money. Thanks to Adam. This is something that could have been put in my previous video about how to get approved for the Venturex card. You can actually click on that link, which I have down in the description of this live stream, and it'll show you what credit cards you can product change to. And so here's an example of what I can product change to. Right here, it says, congratulations, you're eligible for these cards. I have the Venture, the Venturex, the Venture One. The coveted Venturex is right there for the grabbing if I want to move from my Quicksilver card to the Venturex card, and I still get to keep my $15,000 limit. I know a lot of people are starting with like a $20,000 and a $30,000 limit with the Venturex card, but it's good to know that, you know, you keep your interest rate, you keep most of the things the same. So that's a backdoor into the Venturex card. If you're offered the card, I know a lot of people were asking about the pre-approval. They have a pre-approval method, but at this moment, the Venturex card will not show up on the pre-approval page, but it will show up if you already have a Capital One card and you click on that product change link I have down below. All right, so next story here. Sofi introduces margin investing. Okay, so what you get with margin investing is increased buying power. You can borrow money at just 2.5%. It ends on, that 2.5% rate ends on May 31st. And I think it goes up to 5%, so it doubles. You get faster access to investable cash and the potential to increase your returns. And there's no paid subscription required. So Robinhood actually unveiled this type of feature with Robinhood Gold years ago, but you have to pay for that. I think it's like $10 a month. Here it's free of charge. I would definitely caution against margin investing. I would not recommend using it. I personally don't use it, but it's nice to have all the features in the world. I would, if I wanted, you know, it's good to have every feature under the sun and use it at your disposal. But I personally would not recommend using margin investing. There's a potential that you could lose more money than you invested in the first place because you're multiplying the amount from the principal that you've placed into the brokerage account. So that's really dangerous. And a lot of people, if you're trading individual stocks, which I already consider that gambling. I only trade index funds, S&P 500 to be exact, and margin investing just amplifies that. So it's like gambling on steroids is what I would call it. But at least SoFi is introducing new features. I think this is a good indicator that there is more to come, hopefully with the SoFi credit card. And I know, Danny, you're going to agree with me. Hopefully they come with a credit limit increase option, because right now me and you are sitting at a $10,000 limit. It'd be nice to get more. You know, we've been sitting there since the card came out. All right, next story. Senators asked JP Morgan Chase to explain its lawsuit blitz against credit card customers. So JP Morgan Chase has renewed its predatory practice of robo-signing. 6 Senate Democrats asked Jamie Dimon, who's the CEO of JP Morgan, to provide detailed information regarding the bank's credit card debt collection practices. The letter signed by 5 members of the Senate Banking Committee details how Chase launched an ongoing lawsuit blitz against indebted credit card customers when the pandemic began battering the economy in early 2020. Chase had stopped pursuing credit card lawsuits nearly a decade ago when regulators found that the bank's legal paperwork was often faulty. So that's the big problem with robo-signing, is that they basically hire people that are not qualified, that are not really looking at in great detail at the documents to see if this is legit, and these people are free to go after, and it forces people to respond to fraudulent and faulty lawsuits. And so they pretty much, they're going after, you know, everyday folks that really can't afford to fight these lawsuits off. It'll be interesting to see what happens with that. Next story. Bank of America and Capital One rake in billions while denying customers COVID hardship relief. 2 class action lawsuits against Bank of America and Capital One have been filed over the bank's continued assessment of late fees and interest charges, despite their promises of hardship relief throughout the coronavirus pandemic. The 2 plaintiffs say that they were denied meaningful forms of financial assistance when they became unable to make their credit card payments in the pandemic. Meanwhile, the banks raked in billions of dollars in revenue. The banks are each accused of unjust enrichment, breaching the covenant of good faith and fair dealing, and violating California consumer protection laws. So I can definitely see this going to court. And so I'll be covering more of this when there's a sign up page. Usually when you have a class action lawsuit, there is a page where you can register and say, hey, I was a victim, and they'll basically put you in a database. And whenever the conclusion comes to that lawsuit, you'll be reimbursed, I believe, through either a check, RT, or checking account. Here again, Amex tightens Delta relationship by bringing buy now, pay later offering to its checkout. So American Express made its card-based buy now, pay later feature, Planet, so it's called Planet, available at checkout on Delta Airlines website. Planet, which launched in 2017, lets Amex cardholders retroactively split transaction over $100 into monthly installments for a fixed fee. Travel spending is picking back up, and payment providers have an opportunity to sweep up volume as demand for buy now, pay later services are growing in the sector. So the big issue I have, and I have 0 Amex cards. Amex is like a credit card issuer that focuses on travel. Admittedly, I don't travel much these days. I just went on a trip last weekend, but I don't find their cards to be very beneficial and valuable to me. But I don't like the only buy now, pay later services that I use are 0% interest. So if I buy, a bunch of furniture, or an OLED TV on Amazon, and it's $2,000 or $3,000, and I want to pay for it over 6 to 12 months, I want that to be 0% interest. Otherwise, I don't want to pay any fees. I don't want to pay annual fees. I don't want to pay interest payments, nothing of the sort. So that's the big problem. When they say there is a fee involved, I'm not into it. And so, but I do say this is convenient since flights can be pretty expensive. So, even the inside of the States, kind of local flights, regional flights tend to be a few $100s. Sometimes people don't have that in the moment. And so it's nice to be able to spread out, a $500, airline ticket, or a $1,000 airline ticket over the course of 6 months. I could see the benefit of that. All right, I just wanted to go over credit card ownership and usage statistics. So more than 80% of American adults had at least one credit card in 2020. The average American has over 3, almost 4 credit cards. The average American household credit card balance is just over $5,300. Paying with a credit card has increased in popularity from 24% of transactions in 2019 to 27% in 2020. And 41% of US adults listed cashback as their favorite credit card feature. That's my favorite. And I think a lot of you love cashback as well. because that usually comes with no annual fees, and it's the simplest way to earn rewards. I think we can all agree on that. It's surprising how many people have a credit card. You know, it's so funny when I'm out in the wild, out in the wilderness, and you know, just in the city, I find that people either they're ambivalent or they don't really care too much about credit. They don't know what cars they have, they don't know the fees, they just know they have a balance, and they're just revolving, credit card debt, and they're just paying interest every month, but they don't care. They're just oblivious to it. And there's another group that swears by never using credit cards. They're like the Dave Ramsey type, or maybe not so Dave Ramsey, because he's like a financial guru. They're more just they think that banks are con artists and fraudsters, so they don't participate. So it's interesting that so many Americans have credit cards. And I even polled you guys, and you told me that 60% of you guys told me that you don't have any family or friends that are into credit cards like you are. So I thought that was interesting. Yeah, that's a good point. I just want to highlight that, Fred. That's a really great point. People who would never get a credit card but got the Apple Card. And I think there's a few reasons for that. And you can speculate on that as well. But I think it's because it's a shiny piece of metal. Apple did a good job. It feels good. It looks good. Apple is a huge brand. It's the largest company in the world at the moment. And people love the Apple ecosystem. So they're fans of that. So I think I'm forgetting something. I think people kind of do a double speak thing where they love to hate on the credit cards, but they also behind closed doors use them like irresponsibly. I think they do both. Like in your face, they say, I can't stand credit cards. They charge you interest. I wouldn't use those, or I don't use them right now, but they used it last week and they're not paying it off. I think it's kind of like they put in the back of their mind and they say, just forget about it. So a few notable things about this is that most people are carrying high balances. And I use credit cards for almost 100% of my purchases. I think it's interesting that it's only 27% of purchases people are using credit cards for. To really get the value, extract all that value, is you want to transact using credit cards for every possible purchase that will allow you to. You need to crank that 27% up closer to 100%, And one thing I noticed also is that I feel kind of in the minority, guys. I feel like cashback isn't that popular, at least online. I see a lot of the travel cards getting so much play. It's so popular online. The Amex Platinums, the Golds, the Capital One Venturexes, the Chase trifectas. They're getting so much attention, and you wouldn't know it by looking on YouTube, but it's saying that most people love cashback. I love cashback too, but it's not very evident online. All right, so next story up. How credit cards are getting in on the electric vehicle spending trend. EVs made up a mere 2% of new US car sales in 2020. But US Bank announced that its cards that earn bonus rewards on gas purchases will also earn that same rate on purchases at EV charging stations. Bonus rewards for EV charging became technically possible a few years ago when the Visa and MasterCard payment networks added EV charging as a distinct merchant category code, or MCC for short. And so everybody knows that merchant category codes, well, I shouldn't say everybody. Merchant category codes are very crucial because a lot of cards break their rewards down into these small sections. And so whenever you go to a business for example, McDonald's, it should code as fast food. Or better yet, here's a better example. Walmart it typically codes as a wholesale store, not a grocery store. So it's essential that you know, if you're using a card that gets you 5% cash back at grocery stores, that Walmart typically is not going to get that bonus rate. So you might be slapped back if you purchase using a card like the City Custom Cash Card. You might only be earning 1% back there. So it's important to know where you're shopping at. Unfortunately, as of right now, there's no online tool to just look up a store's merchant category code. You have to go by data points and from what other people have seen on their billing statement. So I use the US Bank Cash Plus Visa for utility payments. So this is a welcome addition for me. I just got accepted into the US Cash Plus card. It's only a $500 limit, so that's my lowest limit. But listen, I got my foot in the door, okay? I'm not ashamed to say it. It's a $500 limit, okay? But hopefully I can raise that limit in due time. I did look up how much you'd actually be earning for a typical charging station visit. I don't have electrical vehicles, but the 50 kilowatt hour battery on the Tesla Model 3, which is that lower price Tesla that is available to the general population, that's, you know, tailor-made for the masses, it costs around $8 to fully charge. $8 is not going to get you much cash back. It's a nice idea. Well, I wouldn't say it's a nice idea. It sounds cool, but this is really not going to earn you much. So it doesn't really mean much here, but it does make headlines and we will talk about it. All right, next story, Apple Card. I know, guys, anything Apple Card is big news. Apple Card integrates with Mint budgeting service after rocky launch. Mint, which is owned by Intuit, is a finance budgeting app that allows users to manage their finances all in one place. To access this feature, you just have to go into the Mint app and connect your account to link your Apple Card. So a lot of people have been asking for Mint compatibility. There's a little history here because they initially were compatible and then I guess it broke somehow. Maybe the talks broke down between Mint and Apple and they didn't want to support it, but now that's back up and running. So I like the idea of Mint, but in practice, I've noticed for myself that Mint hasn't really been reliable. The login credentials, like every time I go to the Mint app and try to view all of my credit card and account data, a lot of the logins are broken and I have to either re-log in or it doesn't sync up, or when I go to use the Plaid service to connect the accounts, it's saying that I'm unable to verify the credentials. Let me know if you have any better luck with Mint. All right, next we have the Sofi 2% credit card now comes with a $100 sign-up bonus. I got this card day one, and you know I'm still loving it. It's my ground level foundation card, 2% card. So I earn no less than 2% on all my transactions because of this card. It's my main way of banking. It's my central hub for my finances, and so I really enjoy this card. When I signed up, there was no promotion at all, and a few months ago. Or I should say the promotion that they have been running was 4% cash back. So they just doubled the cash back and that was for 30 days. I think this is better, significantly better, because there's no requirement on your part to earn that whole 4% or make the most of the 4% cash back. You just get a straight up $100. So I always love to get a straight up sign up bonus. This is always better. And here's a pro tip here. You might be able to get $200 on Credit Karma, but that requires a $1,500 in spend. And so one thing you should know is that with Credit Karma, for example, back in December, I signed up for the City Custom Cash Card. I went through Credit Karma. It had an extra $100 in a sign-up bonus. So instead of going to City's sign-up page, which was offering $200, I went over to Credit Karma, which was offering 300, and I already qualified for that. So the Credit Karma's promotions do work. And also, you should know that Credit Karma will show you your likelihood of getting approved for any given credit card, at least with the City Custom Cash, which would happen recently. It said outstanding. And so I said, why not? I'm going to go ahead and apply. It says, apply. It says outstanding, and it worked. So I have some, to me, that's a good data point. In the future, I'm pretty confident that if I go to Credit Karma and it says you have a really good chance, then I'm going to go for it. I really am. So we got the next. Oh, hey, what's up, man? How you doing? Welcome. So here's the next story here. Discover is bringing pay by bank option to US. Buy It Mobility's technology allows consumers to pay directly from their checking accounts using merchants' apps, an approach that's popular in Asia with Alipay and WeChat Pay, among other pioneers. Merchants will be charged less fees than debit and credit card transactions. And already right now, Shell gas station uses the technology, and some customers are paying 25 cents less a gallon than those who use debit or credit cards. So I think listen, I want to pay less at the pump, especially right now. Gas prices are outrageous. They're insane. So to be able to pay 25 cents less, I would love that. Or any discount will be greatly appreciated. So, and I also say more competing technologies is better. We need, if there's another technology that's gonna save money, I'm all for it. So that's a different payment system. So yeah, Jorge, thank you, man. Hey, listen, thank you for the 2,000 subs. It's been a heck of a journey, and a lot of work for sure. A lot of learning involved. So I want to ask everybody, did anybody get approved for any new credit cards, or did you get a limit increase? Did you get approved for that? I just want to know. I know if any, because I want to celebrate that. It's hard. Sometimes it's hard to get these credit cards and get these increases. All right, Fred, you got approved for the Canadian Tire MasterCard. Nice, man. Let me go as. No, I've never heard of Canadian Tire. I'm not familiar with Canada's like most popular cards. Do you find that that Canada is not covered on YouTube, at least? Do you find that those credit cards aren't really reviewed or talked about? All right. Shaquille, man. Congrats. Good job on that. You got the PenFed Power Cash rewards. Nice. What was your starting credit limit? Jorge, I'm not sure what the average amount on utilities is. I have to look that up. I know personally, I spend north of $500 on utilities. I would say just offhand. Yeah, definitely, especially during the winter months, because here up in the Northeast, where I live, in the New York area, we have to pay for oil heat, and so that could run $200 plus. All right, Shaq, you were approved for $2,500. Listen, you got to start somewhere, right? And what we've all learned, and Danny knows this better than anybody, is that PenFed is a relationship-based bank. And so you just have to nurture and build that relationship with them, and they'll eventually bestow upon you a large credit limit increase. I've seen some really good success stories with PenFed. I was surprised at how much people are getting, like $20,000, $30,000 limits with PenFed. Yeah, Jorge, I think that the Cash Plus is worth it when it breaks down to a monthly spending limit of over $660 per month. I think that's decent. I think that's very usable for if I personally, it's the best card for utilities, because there's no other card that allow you to get 5% back on utilities. Even the City Custom Cash doesn't cover that. And then the Venmo credit card does cover utilities, but it's only for 3% back. So I chose to use the US Bank Cash Plus for that category. And then the Venmo is like a floater card. And I'm looking at using Venmo just for travel, the travel category. Oh yeah. I want to welcome everybody. Thank you. Any new subscribers out there, I really appreciate you joining the live stream. Welcome. It's good to have you. All right. So Jorge, you're saying, wouldn't it be nice if the Cash Plus's redemption option was unlimited, meaning that it would allow cardholders to request a paper check? I'm not sure. I do wish that the earnings were unlimited, that there was no spending cap on the 5% category or bonus rate. I'm not sure, Jorge. I'm not sure what you mean, but I want to say, Fred, thank you, man. Listen, I'm still trying to find ways to improve it. Just trying to get 1% better every day. I really appreciate those. comments there. All right. Hey, thank you guys for voting on the poll here. I see you got me some likes here on the video. It definitely helps. Thanks, Fred. I appreciate that. Yeah, man. Gotta put in effort. You definitely gotta put in some effort. Learn that every day. So you guys, are there any stories that you think I missed here? I think that I always look to cover, you know, the big four first, which are Discover, Amex, Chase, and Citi. I always look to cover those first. Or are you saying which cashback card earns the most money back at a majority of grocery stores? There's a few cards that earn a really good rate. I personally am using the Citi Custom Cash, which earns 5% back. I think that might, and I think there's an Amex card, and you guys can help me with this, that earns 6% back, but it has an annual fee. I believe it's the Blue Cash Preferred, earns 6% at grocery stores. Listen, I'm gonna use the 5% Citi Custom Cash because that has no annual fee. And so if you have any sort of annual fee, that really starts you out in the hole. And so you're kind of forced, you are forced to use that card throughout the year to dig yourself out of the hole and plus some. So your hand is full. I don't like being forced into using a card. I want to be able to, at my leisure, pick it up and earn rewards with it. I would say Citi Custom Cash. I like the Verizon Visa that earns 4% back at grocery stores. Yeah, but that's only for Verizon customers. You know, the Venmo card earns 3% back at groceries, so that's a good option as well. All right, Christoph, what's up, Christoph, man? It's good to have you. New to your channel and liking so far, but NIH FCU approved me for $25,000 on personal and $10,000 on business. Wow, NIH. Okay, I'm gonna have to look into them. I need to learn more about NIH. Nice, man. It's a good job. I don't have any credit cards with a limit that high, you know, and funny enough, my highest limit is with the Capital One Quicksilver card, which I got a lot of heat because I know a lot of people are having problems getting credit limit increases with that card or with any Capital One card. So I don't have anything over a $15,000 limit, but it just so happens that altogether I have a lot of cards and it's, you know, limits over 140,000 altogether, but that's nice. 25K, man. Yeah, Jorge, you're saying, does the custom cash also include Instacart as the 5% bonus? Yeah, I believe it does. I believe it does. Danny, you got a NIH. Danny, I knew you had one of those too. It's also great. Okay. Yeah, I think that's easy. Cinnamon. That's a good question. I might have to do a poll of that question. I might have to steal that one, man. That's a good one. I think that I know it would be a MasterCard because most of my cards bear the MasterCard logo. It would have to be MasterCard. For sure. A lot of credit card company. I don't know what's happening behind the scenes. I'd have to do more research, but like my Sofi card is a MasterCard. And let me check. Let me check right now. So Capital One is a Visa. Let's see. My City Custom Cash, that's a MasterCard. And what else we have here? PayPal's a MasterCard. Have a Wayfair. I think the Double Cash is also a MasterCard. Yeah, man, I have to be that. I'm going with that. Okay, all right, misunderstood. Cinnamon. So you meant I could keep one of each of the 4 types of cards. Okay. Yeah, so for the MasterCard, I would keep the Sofi credit card. Actually, you know what? Maybe I have to scratch that. My 2% cards. I need a 2% card. Definitely keep the Sofi. The Visa, I would probably keep the Verizon Visa. Discover. If I had a Discover card, it would be the Discover It card. Amex, I don't currently have an Amex card, but it will probably be the... I like the Amex Platinum for... in theory, I like the Amex Platinum because I know it's so coveted. So many people love that card. And I know it has a lot of statement credits and stuff. It has that metal, that metal weight to it. But it would probably have to be their blue everyday card. There's no annual fee there. And what am I missing? MasterCard, Visa, Amex. What else we got here? Yeah, I got them all. Danny, you're saying you have 7 2% cards, man? Wow. I think I have maybe 3 or 4, but 7? I think every federal credit union has their own version of a 2% card. Am I right? Hey, thank you for joining, Miss Barton. What I have another question, guys. What credit card are you most excited about like applying for this year? I can't even think of any. I keep getting mailers and different pre-approval offers from Amex for the Platinum card, which I know just for the culture, just for the community, maybe I should have one, but I'm not really interested in a travel card, especially one with an annual fee. So I think I'll pass that up. All right, so Danny, you're saying you're gonna sign up with the signature FCU next month. Okay. I'm not familiar with them. All right, Cinder Madness is challenging you, Danny, to list those seven cards. I only have a 1.5% cashback card at the moment. All right, Jorge, you're saying that the Quicksilver would be your first ever credit card down the road, especially when the Sofi requires a 700 credit score. I wouldn't hold fast to Sofi. You should really check on Sofi because you can get pre-approved without with a soft credit pull with Sofi. And I don't think it started out that way, but I always love the ability to apply for a card with no sort of, no burden, no negative, repercussions. I'm gonna take a look at them actually. Let's go over here to the take a look at Signature Federal Credit Union. So, Danny, you're going for the Visa Signature here. Yeah, Jorge, I want to address that really quick. So, what you love about Capital One is that depending on your credit worthiness, you're allowed to upgrade a different card. So that's actually the thing that most people dislike. And I can see that that's a pro that you're stating, is that they allow you to actually get your foot in the door. But then when it's time, they really want you to upgrade or manually apply for a better credit card that's in a better bucket. And a lot of people, I think, are misunderstanding the fact that their cards don't grow with you like other cards. So I guess it's just a disconnection from the rest of the market that grows with you, and their cards just, they're with you for the moment. So at least you get your, you get your secured card, or you get an entry level unsecured card, but you're going to have that super low limit. And when you get your credit score up, then you can apply for those better cards. Okay, Christoph, you're saying you're thinking about applying for the Amex Gold or Capital One Venturex. Okay. I've seen a lot of attention last year. I think when I put up a poll to you guys, the Venturex I believe, beat out the City Custom Cash card, which is a really favored card when that released. So that was like best new card of the year for 2021 was the Venturex. So I would definitely be leaning towards that. Yeah, Cinnamon. So you're thinking of some of the Bank of America cards. I haven't covered any Bank of America cards, and that's something that I'm missing for sure. I might have to look into that. Yeah, you know that Cinnamon is that 5.25%. That is a really appealing earnings rate. But you just have to be really invested with Bank of America. You have to have, I think, to reach their top tier, you need at least $100,000 in between all the different types of accounts that they offer. So it's really, if you have the money, I think that's the best way to go because you're getting you're getting over 5% back on all purchases. You can't beat that. All right, ALB or ALB, welcome to the live stream. And that's congratulations on getting approved for the Discover It card. And it's a starting limit of $3,000. That's pretty good for the Discover It card. Because when I first had it, first off, good job on that. 3,000. When I first got the Discover It card, it only had I think it was like a $500 or $700 limit. I think I got upgraded to $1,200 eventually after like 2 years, and I just let it sit. And after a few years, I sock drawered it, and I wasn't using it at all. So 3,000 is great, man. You're gonna be able to apply for a limit increase very soon. It's only a soft pull, and like I said in my last video, you can apply every 31 days. People are having success doing that, so it's up to you. All right, well, it was good hanging out with everybody. You know, I'm gonna be here next Sunday at 7 p.m. like usual, like clockwork. Oh, Flo, let me answer this question real quick, Ms. Barton. So you're asking how often should you use the cards to keep them active? This is going to really depend on the credit card issuer. I have many credit cards that I haven't used for years and they stay active. And I think that rule of thumb is to at least use them once a year to keep them active for what they call bubblegum purchases, or at least a small purchase will do. But you should get a notice from either email or a mail notice saying that, hey, in 45 days, we will close the account due to inactivity before anything ever happens with it. So I don't think it's something that you should even worry about. But if you want to be absolutely sure, use it once a year at least. Okay, so Cinnamon, you're saying that you want to balance it out with at least one Discover and Amex card. Yeah, I mean, I think Discover is great for entry level card users. They don't seem to offer the higher rewards. They just don't seem to have that. I think it's great to build your credit. I think every credit card issuer has their share of the market. They have their value proposition that just say, hey, this is how we distinguish ourselves from the rest of the market. And so I think what Capital One has their polar opposite approach, where they get those they get people in from college, and they get people who have subprime credit scores, and then they have the people in the upper echelon, upper tiers for the Venturex cards, and then the Discover cards get you in the door with their unsecured Discover It card, and they graduate you to the standard Discover card. But if you're in the middle, if you have like a 700 score, I don't see Discover being competitive there, because if you have that score, you can easily go for the Chase Freedom Flex card that has a rotating 5% category system like Discover, but it's a far better card overall. I'm sure, I'm not exactly sure if they have a reconsideration line, Jorge, but I haven't seen anybody speaking about being reconsidered for the SoFi card, if that's any value to you. Usually if the reconsideration line is valuable, there'll be some discussion about it. I know for Chase, and I think even Amex, their reconsideration lines are known to get people approved sometimes. Christoph, you're saying the Venturex card is great travel card and has great benefits, and their lounges that they've opened are fantastic. Yeah, those lounges look amazing, dude. They look really nice. I will give them that. My only disclaimer with lounges, and this is, I've never used a lounge before, so you can put an asterisk next to this, but I have noticed people complaining about the lines. I've noticed that there have been discussions about too many people being allowed into airport lounges. And there's that 3-hour window restriction where you can't enter the lounge 3 hours until 3 hours before your flight. And if you have a connection, which I don't like connections, but if you have one, then you can use the airport lounge. But when you arrive at your destination, you can't use it. So for me, I like the idea of an airport lounge, but in my mind, I'm like, if I'm going to use a lounge, I want full access. As soon as I get to the airport, I don't care what time it is, let me get to the lounge. And they have hours off of operation. So if you're super early, or your flight is sometime, after the lounge closes, then you don't have access to it. So I just have a problem with rewards and statement credits that are hard to use. I want them to be easily accessible. That's why I love SoFi or cashback cards to begin with, because cashback is dead simple. It's just cash in your pocket. SoFi is great because they allow you to automatically redeem your rewards. So I just want a frictionless system of earning cashback as close to passive income as possible. That's just the way that I like to do things. I don't begrudge anybody for having their own method and, being into their own thing. Oh, which cashback? Easy or easy, Jorge? This is simple. Slide is the best one. Slide. I know Slide is very underrated right now. Nobody's really talking about it or using it. I'm using it. I like Rakuten, but here's the problem. Rakuten is that you don't get that big fat check for 3 months. So as soon as you earn your rewards, you're not able to access those rewards until 3 months later, usually. And those rewards that they offer are fluctuating. Sometimes they go in and out. When you use the Slide app, you're always getting 4% back. Always. And if you prepay, there's a little here's a pro tip. If you use Slide, you can actually get 5% back on all purchases. if you prepay. So if you load money onto the Slide app and then go and purchase the gift card, you'll earn a full 5% back on everything. So I love a consistent and easy to use, cashback system. All right, Cinematics, you're saying Rakuten versus Ibotta. I'm gonna go with Rakuten. I think Ibotta is more like it's like a coupon app. Am I correct? If that's the case, I want to be able to use. That's the problem with couponing, and some people actually like to compare couponing to using credit cards. They're different because credit cards are very consistent. If you have a 2% credit card or 5% card, or even a travel card like the Venturex, you earn 5 or 10x back on travel. You always earn those rewards on the things that you want to buy. With couponing, you have to succumb and you have to just buy the products that are on sale. I don't want those products. I want the products that I always buy, that I go for, that provide me the most value, that that I'm used to. All the things that I prefer. I want to be able to earn points, rewards, and cash back on all the things that I prefer, the typical purchases that I would make anyway. That's where the value is. All right, now Cinnamon, you say now that I think it's a little off topic, but if you have a HELOC, technically since it works the same way as revolving credit card, couldn't they close the HELOC due to inactivity? I'm not sure. I don't want to respond to that because that's not really in my wheelhouse, but that I'm not sure. I'm gonna just go with that. If anybody in the comment section knows, in the chat knows, please help me out here. Well, guys, it's been great hanging out with you. I really appreciate you coming to join me. We're going to do this again next Sunday at 7 p.m. And I want you guys to have a great night, a good week.